Ah, the bounty hunting program they used in the anime. Hey, maybe they finally got it. Maybe the pilot was directed by a madman who didn't understand the show. Wait a minute. Why are we in 2171? This adaptation is set a whole century later than the original, and for what reason? You can get away that the story is set in 2071, so humanity hasn't quite caught up yet, but setting it in 2171? So many of these meaningless changes. For some reason they have the Crazy Bomber episode earlier, which I'm not surprised. They don't have to go chronologically, but there's already one major problem in the police video.
Get back!
The characterization is completely off. Again. Teddy Bomber, as professionals tend to do, have standards. For one, he made sure not to harm people with his explosives, and he aimed to destroy the tallest skyscrapers. Not that I want to get political or any of that other nonsense, but this is kinda important to his beliefs, as his primary motive is giving a message to people about unchecked capitalism through blowing up its symbols. No doubt it is insane, but to his credit, at least he can explain himself. This guy is just nuts.
So go get him!
I was supposed to say that part.
Hey look, she already broke character in the first appearance. Oh Netflix and your self-aware jokes. How much I'm not laughing. Jet has a lead that Teddy is probably going to blow up some building in the area. So they go to a church and attend a wedding reception until Spike needs to take a leak.
Go to the bathroom.
Told you to lay off that Venusian tea. Stuff burns right through you.
Thanks, Mom.
Then this clown shows up. Who could this be? Why is there a focus on his boots with the dragon symbol on it? Must be some employee from a local Chinese restaurant. More importantly, what's up with the Dutch angle? They can't go about their lives without it. It's freaking everywhere! Google says, to convey a sense of tension or psychological trauma in the person being filmed. It all makes sense now. I am already experiencing psychological trauma just by watching this. At first, I thought this guy is gonna be Andy, like in the original episode. That rivalry between the two really carried the episode. But nah, this guy is only an assassin for the syndicate, so we can have another meaningless action scene. And about that, as far as the action itself, I haven't really said much in the previous episode for a good reason. It's rather dull. Let's break down this one. The biggest issue in these fights is them not being continuous. It looks like both actors are waiting for each other's cues, and it takes away my immersion entirely. Look at this. The dude tries to stab Spike and holds out his arm for a second. And I mean literally, he stays still for a second so John Cho can wrap the guy's hands so he can break off his Assassin's Creed merchandise, and it all takes place in the bathroom. In fact, the majority of these scenes take place in a room or a small space, contrary to Bebop, where most of the action is provided from the thrill of the chase scenes, the changing environments. We don't have to go too far to see this in action. Just take the Asimov fight for example. They begin at the cafe, Spike pulls off his cool martial arts moves, then they get attacked by thugs, which forces them to pursue on the streets until it carries out in space. This is the kind of action I'm missing from the show. I'm not an expert if $70 million can buy you that, but I'm sure as hell there was much that should have never made it to the cutting room.
What, are you taking a dump now?
In the meantime, Jet encounters Teddy Bomber, and after discovering that the suspicious looking guy indeed has bombs in his bag, he focuses just long enough on Teddy so he can get pushed on the floor. You know, the big tough guy looking fella with the cybernetic arm getting pushed over by the skinny man with one hand. Hello? Writer's room? Is anyone at home? Spike finally kicks this guy into a toilet so we can finally confirm his identity.
Who sent you? Syndicate?
Fuck you. That's who.
Then Spike unloads the rest of the bullets on him. Quite in character for him to do that. Jet follows Teddy outside, but was preparing with a blunt object to knock him out, like in a Tom and Jerry episode. Also, none of the bystanders found it odd how a weird man who was holding a golden flower stand was waiting at front of the door. Oh well, this is a perfect opportunity to use the intro.
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Twice? Yeah, they have begun playing the first verse, then played the bloody intro from the beginning. Was this an oversight? It doesn't blend into each other at all, whatever. It seems to be a common theme in this show that Spike is hiding something. Very obviously, mind you, which is ironic because Spike is a master of hiding his true emotions, but John Cho is like an open book by comparison. And it's kinda sad. Because like everyone else around him is written in a way that like they just don't get it. They can't see through this shit. Can't put too much blame on the actor though, since they include scenes like this one. So Spike still has bloodstains on his shirt from his fight with the assassin, and the camera makes us aware of that. But you know what never comes up? The ex-investigator pays no attention to that. What gives Spike's strange behavior away is his disinterest towards the bounty.
Tell us what kind of explosives he used, then we can source suppliers.
Yeah.
While giving off even more obviously fake vibes of being interested.
Spike, are you even with me?
Yeah.
Sicilians are great liars. Best in the world. My father was the world heavyweight champion of Sicilian liars.
Explosives, and then we gotta find that supplier, right?
I know this guy.
Hey, how long is this gonna take, do you think?
Couple hours.
How is Jet unable to read into that? Jet wants to give him some work to do, but he pisses off to grab noodles.
Like I said, I never got my noodles.
Spike! We're in the middle of a goddamn job!
What a champ. Welcome sunshine and flat boring looking city. We see his disabled tracking, so we're gonna see something super interesting. Or the show just wants us to believe that. The next scene we see an elderly couple in what looks like a jazz club, and they are greeted by a weirdo what turns out to be...
Always the tease, Gran.
Gran? They go into this crowded bar. Gran is serving as their humble host.
Now, you'll be thrilled to know that I personally reserved table 8 for you tonight.
He's chatty, everyone is having a good time. Okay, stop. From all the character changes we have seen so far, this can be considered rape. Jupiter Jazz was one of the best two-parters in anime history. It's set on the moon of Callisto, a desolate wasteland with a depressed economy, full of men, 0 women. Gran is a saxophone player in a small bar, keeping a low profile. Later in the episode, we find out he was sold out by Vicious, and during prison he went insane, which resulted in him becoming a drug addict. The drug that caused him to have female hormones, hence he ended up with androgynous features. To put it lightly, he wasn't happy about his situation. But again, this is a common theme for the writing errors of the show. Fancy jazz club, center of culture, instead of a depressing, lawless, backwater planet jazz club where everyone looks like they can jump off a bridge at any moment. A cheery, non-binary person to correct the wrongs of the original show. So told by this article. Instead of the man who was sold out and has been planning his revenge for years.
Are you trying to kill me again? Is that it? We fought that bloody war together. We were comrades. I looked up to you. I believed in you. There was nothing to believe in. There's no need to believe.
You may want to order that second bottle of reserve and linger till sunup.
This is supposed to be a character-defining moment, one of the best ones since you can connect it to the main villain of the show. Instead, all of that is taken away, and we end up with the husk who only carries the name, but none of the meaning. There literally is nothing else to this Gran. What a piece of shit decision this was. And then enters Annie, who is called Anna here, who is the owner of the bar. The real Annie was never in the spotlight. It meant something if you had been marked ex-syndicate, and besides, she appeared for about 2 minutes in the entire anime.
Making a drop. Send it.
This show is a perfect representation of ADHD. It will do whatever just so we don't have to care about the main plot, which should be the bounty hunting. What else could we add to these events, I wonder?
Surprise.
And Spike is here. Fantastic.
3 years. You let me believe you were dead.
They tried to kill me, Anna.
Of course they did.
Alright, so Spike should have just waltzed back into your club where syndicate members casually go to. Gotcha. For once, I'm on John's side. I have a feeling it won't be a habit. We're already back on the Bebop? Oh yeah, we're still after Teddy Bomber. The last 5 minutes had so much shit I already forgot Jet is also in this episode. He's reading the Bomber's manifesto, which is full of bananas. And we're back to Spike. Wow, that was really good 20 seconds we have spent with Jet. And after some convincing agrees to eavesdrop on any future syndicate combos in her jazz club to help out Spike track down who is responsible for the assassin. And now for some expository dialogue, just for good measure. Spike is about to take his leave to answer Jet's call, but he's still in the goddamn jazz club with Anna. This could have been a great time to cut to the next scene. Instead we get this.
I gotta go.
Hot date?
My partner, believe it or not.
He know what you used to be,
He wouldn't understand.
and you ain't gonna give him a chance.
Guy's an ex-cop. He despises the syndicate.
How exciting. And then Spike goes on like this.
Is she happy?
She's married now to Vicious. And yeah, she's happy.
Why is everyone connected with each other? Please just be a story about referencing other events. Is that too much to ask? And now we cut to the villain's lair. I swear every cutaway to the syndicate is during night to make it look sinister. Instead it feels like a silly cartoon again. Hey, you're supposed to have the grounded serious scenes, not the anime.
What? The elders would like a word.
Vicious has been a nasty boy for dealing red-eye behind the other's back, so the evil council wants a word with him, half naked. You know this is a serious scene because the Dutch angle is so over the place to the point that the British had to set up a new concentration camp to contain it. And we get another sloppy characterization.
You've betrayed us, Vicious. You've been dealing red-eye behind our backs.
Vicious in this show is horrible. I don't mind the drastic change of the character's look when the person is so unrecognizable it's beyond belief.
I was merely attempting to expand our business. Your profits, I thought. If
You thought. You're not here to think.
The real Vicious is well composed, strategic. He's cold, calculating. He openly tells people he will betray them just so he can reach his goals. He is over nihilistic to the point it creeps me out, man. This buffoon, on the other hand, is just a hot-blooded punk who gets easily offended by everything and a fucking coward too. This scene perfectly encapsulates everything I hate about him.
I misunderstood. It won't happen again. Forgive me.
Loyalty must be proven. Your wife.
Please.
And while I find it odd how the syndicate raids him during the night because he was dealing drugs for the syndicate, it amazed me how little effort he put into his plan.
Anything else? Take a finger. Take my whole hand.
Syndicate above all else.
And he offers himself to save Julia? Vicious? The there's nothing to believe in this world guy? He has no plan B.
Don't make us question your loyalty again, boy.
If the others didn't make this as a scare, he would be dead by now. Look at the same scene from the anime after Mao. One of the syndicate's top capo was assassinated, and Vicious wants to extend the business to a potentially risky plan.
Why did he send you to make the deal? He's a Titan veteran. We were in the same squadron.
Why does he rely on you now?
Callisto is in a financial depression. When he can't see the future, he worries. It appears that you do not have the authority to make your own decisions in this matter.
No matter who they are, those who go against the will of the van will be severely punished.
You think I'd betray my own mentor?
He keeps his cool no matter how many times he gets called out by the van. Here it looks more like an overreaction, just drama for the sake of starting a conflict. Now Vicious's motivation is to take revenge on the elders for pulling a prank on him, and not because he just wants to be on the top of the food chain. Way too temperamental to be a leader, but don't worry, it will get worse. Back in Dutch angle heaven, we're at the construction yard. Jet's research has proven that the bombs use the chemical that this construction company uses for demolition, so they go and ask a bloke about it. I feel I'm having a deja vu, like I have been in this place before. For a few seconds it feels the show is going somewhere. Jet following his calling as a character, but they can't take a giant dump on it with the following dialogue.
It's the 5th place I've checked. You'd know if you picked up your goddamn phone.
Yeah, I would have if I thought it was important.
Jesus, you're prickly today. With hard times at the noodle shop?
Spike was away, so Jet brought up the noodle bar twice.
And you think the explosives came from us?
We analyzed the bomb fragment.
You mean your machine analyzed the bomb fragment?
When you cook an egg, do you need to give credit to the frying pan?
Your machine did it. Why bring... Oh, everyone knows the machine did it. It's like, he didn't do it on his own. He didn't... Such a pathetic, line.
It's Vaxium nitrate. We're positive.
Your machine is positive.
At least I didn't screw off to get noodles for 6 hours and not even get noodles.
Even in the anime, their relationship never felt this confrontational.
No, it never does.
Yeah, this feels like they hate each other.
Mm.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, they're arguing. It's like, yeah, but they're not arguing, organically.
No.
Who the fuck even argues about the machine doing something?
This episode was only 39 minutes, and thank the Lord for that. Why do I have a feeling this was written by an edgy 12-year-old? And get this, the dude who works as a demolition supplier at the construction company is called...
The Vaxium nitrate didn't come from us.
You have the paperwork to prove it?
You don't believe me? Ask Theodore yourself.
Yeah, are you fucking joking me?
Our supplies guy, Theodore Clark, keeps the stock in his freighter a few buildings down.
Are you fucking joking me? How fucking retarded is this? This is single-handedly like Mr. M. Murderer. Like, my name's Axel Murderer. You're like, oh, right.
I will call my wife Misfortune. Now they are off to Teddy's ship, which is a perfect time to switch back to Vicious. Anyhow, Julia manages to piss off Vicious, so he gives her a neck massage.
You will never be man enough to stand up for yourself.
Don't you ever tell me.
See? This is what I mean by our villain being overly emotional. If this was the real Vicious, she would be cut in pieces by now. Instead, this abomination goes full Evangelion on this chick. Those eyes. I just can't take him seriously. He finds it too embarrassing, so we switch back to Spike and Jet. Oh god, I'm getting nauseous. We get a foreshadowing moment about booby trap.
What? Booby trap. Step on that. You were in your asshole for an ascot.
I wonder when that will come up. While they search the ship, they make the most amazing observation.
Put your gun away. We're surrounded by explosives.
What? Hold on, pause.
he really did say that.
Hold on. Wait, so they went into a freighter that was filled with explosives.
Yes.
And then they've gone, hold on, we're surrounded by explosives.
Just in case you couldn't read the sign.
We're surrounded by explosives.
Oh my god. So what are we meant to do? Whisper charge at him?
The ship departs into a field of space debris, and debris collides with the bridge, and seemingly the bounty is lost. To my surprise, Jet finally catches up with Spike's bullshit and calls him out.
He turns off their tracker for 6 hours to get noodles.
Was it a bar?
With who?
What's the matter with who?
It matters because partners don't disappear on partners.
I'm there when it counts.
Until you're not.
I'm impressed. He isn't really as dumb as I thought he would be. Until he steps on the mine.
I need honesty from the guy who's watching my six.
Ugh. Then this intellectual shows up.
Load the ship star. If you don't clear the way for the ship.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you get that?
Hey look, they can't understand him because of the mask. Remember when the real Teddy was ignored? It was hilarious because we got this wild chase between Spike and Andy, and they got so obsessed over beating the other that they have ignored the bounty entirely. Anyway, cue awkward fight sequence. A move, B move, lift the arm, rotate the arm, move again, wait for the opponent. I think we are stuck in the turn-based RPG again. And the sequence is done. Or is it now? While I was editing the video, I noticed this very stupid edit. So basically, Spike uses his wrench to knock this guy out. But problem here is that there are quite a few frames where you see the impact of the wrench hitting the head. And instead of it flying off from his head, you see it clearly that it barely even moves. So it's technically a failed take. This adaptation is so bad that it's multi-dimensional. Spike pushes Jet off the landmine, scoring good points with this. And just when he was about to explain himself...
Jet.
Yeah.
There is something I gotta tell you.
He derails the conversation to avoid revealing himself, and what is painful is that Jet buys into it. And how better can we end this episode without another vicious scene, where two of his goons inform him that the assassin was killed by Fearless. It was obvious that Vicious sent the assassin after him, but how he reacts is just stupid. Why are they discussing this in the jazz club? For the love of God, when you're talking about assassinating someone, can you not do it in public? What was the message of this episode? I honestly don't know. I mean, I do have a word for it, which is tragedy, but if I use that for the second episode, then what am I gonna use for the rest? They had 3 perfectly fine episodes to adapt. Instead, they mashed it together in the most blood-boiling way possible. Teddy Bomber, the bounty of this episode, is just something in the background, while Spike and Vicious is taking the spotlight. Why would we need all that build-up and character development when we can just cut to the chase? But speaking of completely wasting characters, what they have done to Gran is simply irredeemable. He's not even a huge part of this episode. He barely gets a few minutes of screen time. The real problem comes from how Netflix did the 100% wrong adaptation of this character. Gran is a performer at the jazz club, but that is not his entire identity, because his true intentions are to lay low until he can pay back Vicious. The live action reduced him to a joke. The writers probably read Gran's wiki page and saw jazz club and homosexual there, so they based his entire character on that, with some modern Californian twist sprinkled on top. At least that's my theory, because there's no way any sane-minded person would pass up the opportunity opportunity and would replace it with something like this. Really what it comes down to is a watered down version of the story. We have Julia on the run who ends up on Callisto and happens to encounter Gran in that particular bar. Both of them happen to share history with Vicious for all the wrong reasons. In the live action they just happen to work at the same place. Neither of them had any past experience with Vicious. He was just a dude in the bar who happened to date this girl named Julia, and then he got angry. The music box which carries the tune Julia liked so much and is literally Chekhov's gun by the end of the episode, a cherry on top of an excellent action sequence. In the live action it's just a song she used to sing in Anna's jazz club, because when a show has a running theme around jazz music, why not add a hub area that's relevant to the music genre so the whole show is revolving around this one place? You know, a show called Cowboy Bebop, which has both the profession and the music genre in it, where the latter is also the name of the spaceship where the main characters reside. Oh well. All that great dialogue between Faye and Gran, which reflects on why Faye feels so lonely and out of place in this world, preaching she'd rather be alone than be part of a group, to someone who has led a life like that. We rightfully corrected that she is only saying that out of fear of losing the people she got attached to. In the live action, we have... well...